What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the video. Today is a very big day for ESO. As many of you guys I'm sure know by now, the game officially launches today. Even though you've seen a lot of coverage on it for the last 5 days, the game officially goes live for everyone today. So not just people that did the big pre-order like myself, where you pre-ordered the Imperial Edition. So yes, I've been in the game for 5 days and I've been playing it a lot and I've been doing videos on it. But for everyone who didn't do the big pre-order, maybe they just pre-ordered the game, or maybe they were waiting to see if the game was any good, well, you guys can go ahead and pick it up today and jump in. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is doing a top 5 tip video, and this is a video that really works for anybody who is just now getting started in the game, just some basic information. So first off, let's go ahead and dive in here and make this video not too long with rambling. So first thing is picking your race/class. What I would recommend you do for this is jump on ESOhead.com. They're one of the best sources right now for building a class early on, so you can go ahead and see what you can end up doing late game for your build. So don't go into the game and say, hey, I want to be this race in this class because it sounds tanky, because in reality you can be a sorcerer, tank, or whatever you want to end up being, or you can be what you would think would be a tank, or whatever it is, right? A Nightblade doesn't necessarily mean you're a rogue character. You can really do a lot of things with it. So go in, figure out what racial you want and what race you want based on that racial, and then figure out a class that pairs well with that. It's more of pairing than, hey, I think this sounds tanky, like a sorcerer may sound like a ranged mage type character, but in reality you could make that a tank. Just look at the racials and look at the class and see if they pair well. So just keep that in mind when you're picking out a class, and definitely use ESO Head to build your character. That way you end up building something that's good, and like I said, you can really have a lot of different builds and have a really good character, even though it doesn't seem like that traditional online type of build where it's like, hey, this sounds tanky, it's a paladin, it should be more healy, or whatever it is, right? It's not like World of Warcraft, it's not like a lot of other MMOs out there. You really can do whatever you want. The next big recommendation I have for you is play through the story, because in reality, if you're starting today, you're not going to be that first person to end game, right? There are already people at level 50, so they're working on getting their way to veteran rank 10. If you don't know how the ranking system works or how your levels work, you get to level 50, that's the quote max level, but then you have 10 more levels of veteran rank content, which is veteran rank 1 through 10. As soon as you get to level 50, you jump to veteran rank 1, and then you get your other 9 veteran ranks, which take a long time to get. The estimated times I've been hearing is between 200 and 400 hours, depending on how quickly you play through the game, what your skill level is in MMOs, if you listen to the entirety of the story, which I recommend you do. So like I said, if you're going to be playing for 200 hours, why not put in 300 hours and enjoy the story if it's going to be so much time? It's not like you're cutting your time in half. It's not like it's doing much for you because you're already spending so much time. So why not listen to the incredible story? Also, no, it's not like other MMOs in the sense that the story is voice acted all the way through from beginning to end, so you don't have to sit there and read dialogue boxes or anything like that. You just listen to the story and it works out really well. So I would recommend that. It's very, very similar to any other game that would have a story mode, so don't think just because it's an MMO the story is going to be lacking, because truly the story is good from what I've heard. So moving on, the next big thing I would recommend is that you collect everything, whether it be ores, plants, timber, whatever you see, collect it and at least sell it, just because money is so hard to get in the beginning of the game, and you're going to be looking to get a mount, especially the high level mount, right away. So don't worry so much about the low level mounts. If you didn't pre-order and you don't have the white horse, don't worry about that too much. Work your way for that higher level mount, because you instantly get a 10% speed increase, and then you can continue building on from there. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're collecting everything. Make sure you're always looking around. Another big thing to make sure you collect is sky shards, because they're annoying to come back and get, although online you can find locations. I believe it's on ESO Head as well for all the sky shards. So if you're leveling and you're like, oh, I wonder if there's a sky shard here, you can always pull up ESO Head and or wherever it's at, just do a Google search for sky shards. All the locations are public online. Worst case, you miss them and you come back, but it is a lot easier to just get them while you're there, so you don't have to worry about them late game, and you don't have to worry about your character not being as powerful as others just because you weren't collecting sky shards. Another big thing that I've kind of been lacking on and kind of slacked on a little bit in the beginning of the game, which made my character a little bit weaker and overall made the questing experience a little bit harder, was actually crafting your own gear. Make sure you're doing this early. Make sure you're crafting your gear. This will help you early game. Make sure you have a strong character, and it will increase your levels and things like blacksmithing. You will get more XP though from breaking down looted gear, so if you're looking to specifically level your blacksmithing or whatever it is, just make sure you're breaking down gear, because you actually get to level up quicker by breaking things down, which is kind of interesting. But do note then, when you break it down, you can also use those materials towards building other things, so it works out pretty well and it will help you level. So first tip there, make sure you're building your own gear, especially early game, because then you can go ahead and not only level your blacksmithing alongside your actual character leveling, but you also will make sure that you have good gear all the time, because you get drops all the time of gear you may not want. Maybe you're running with 5 light armor or 2 medium or whatever it is, right? And you really need heavy, but you can't find it because the drops aren't good. Well, as long as you've been crafting alongside your leveling, you should be able to go and craft something for yourself. And once again, just make sure you're breaking down gear that you're not using, because it will help you level up your blacksmithing or whatever you're trying to level up. The next big thing is actually a leveling thing. So once you're actually in the game and you're playing through the game, make sure that you have thought out something you want to end up doing later on in the game, because what ends up happening is that you have a lot more skills available to you than the 5 that you can actually use plus your ultimate. So although there are 5 down there, and once you hit level 15 you actually can get 2 skill bars, you can just flip between them, you still kind of are in a weird situation where you're like, hey, can I use this skill? Yes. Can I use this skill? Yes. Which one should I use, because I only am going to get points in one skill line? So just make sure you're actually focusing on something. Although it's okay to kind of diversify a little bit, you don't want to diversify across everything and have a character in endgame that's okay at most things and not amazing at anything, because you need to be amazing at something to be able to really fit well in a team or in dungeons or whatever you're trying to do. So just make sure you're thinking a little bit ahead. Like I said, it's not terrible to diversify somewhat, but you just need to have something in mind where you're not randomly throwing skills in the skill tree, and then you get towards the end game and you're like, hey, what can I use? Oh, whoops, I never put anything in this skill tree in my skill bar, and I have 0 points in this, but I wanted to do this the whole game. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. And that's really it. That's my 5 tips for ESO new players. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I'd also love to hear what level of you are you currently in ESO. That'd be something interesting to hear, because I know leveling is a little bit slow. Expect about 1 hour per level. So yes, it is a little bit slow. You might as well enjoy the story. Like I said, it is a great story. So thanks guys for watching. If you did enjoy this, please subscribe. We will have more ESO stuff coming very soon. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, peace. And here is the outro.